Well, it's still going on. People like to yell stuff even when I take the trash out. I think everything they did to me, I think they should do it to them. If you want to be part of a domestic terrorism group, if you want to be part of human trafficking, then they should do it to you and your family. And how will you like it? Today, when I had got to work, this car pulled in next to my client's home. Now, they already told them in March everything was photoshopped. He pulled in and said if the worst thing she ever did wrong was bend over properly. None of this is funny. Well, they made that other part up too. Oh, I didn't know that. That goes back to that old idiot. For every idle word you tell on us, I'll turn it on you. If you try to leave Dave, I'll list your child molester. And I'm like, who are you? I had a bruise on the top of my thigh. It had a long skirt on. He's like, you know that bruise you have on your leg? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I used sodium pentothal on you. And you know what you told me? You bent over improperly once. You were wearing this one nightgown. And they accidentally seen your butt. And you had a lot of pain because of it. I'm like, who are you? And I got away from him. I still don't know who he is. Okay? They said he was doing that kind of shit to me before. Their so-called sodium pentothal reports are ecstasy and date rape drugs. They were breaking in my house, picking my bedroom lock, and drugging me up to say stuff. And morphine drinks. They're not funny. None of this is funny. Like that guy said, nobody finds any of this funny. Well, then stop participating and stop taking their blood money. How much is a human life worth to you? I laid my life down to save my family. What do you do when you realize all the attempts on your life was your ex-husband and his church people? What do you do when your children's lives are threatened? And nobody will help you. And there's no way out. You lay your life down trying to save your family and keep them out, let them go after you. That's what you do. I don't think retired Judge Pete in the Portage County Sheriff's, the undercover police part of it, is funny. I Googled where Officer Reinhardt in Louisville laughed that no matter what, until Will took your statement, they couldn't even be in your home. It's illegal to be in somebody's home no matter what. We could never look or listen. Well, I Googled it the other night. If police or agents tape you alone in your house, not only do they lose their license, they face charges, and the prosecutor's office could never use it. That's why the Massillon police laughed at this too. November 24, 21, 8:40 a.m. at Alt Mestat Care on Wales. I'm here to watch her. There's a Steve and Eric stalking her, and we don't know who they are yet. And it's finally got funny after everything they did. Nothing's admissible. No, it's not. And any cop saying that they were doing this for retired Judge Pete's daughter, Michelle, they've already lost their badge if they admit they were in my house one day before that protected light case started. It's not admissible, and they get charges. You have a right to privacy, a right to remain quiet, a right to legal representation, a right to a fair court trial, bail, and bond. People think it's funny that cops are criminals. The one maintenance man at December 9, 21, 4 p.m., they told him everything was them and not me. And it's just a bunch of men doing crimes down here. The guy at the Stark County Hunger Task Force, December 9th, 21 by 1 o'clock, he actually worked the case. He's a white man, bald with dark eyes. He only 4 or 5 volunteers. Comes out and said we always knew the tapes before were them, not her. So we never said a word. It goes back to January 25th, 2019. Entered in the case, Dave's acting crazy. All the cops are at the end of the road. It's 8:30, 10:30 at night. One shows up. The police always knew she's innocent before they were talking about it at the station. Some guy was mailing his guy out from a team and said, if she's innocent, I'll pay a fine or bail. And said, no, the police always knew she was innocent before, and they never want to arrest her. They knew someone else did something wrong before. I can go into March 24, 22, 1/130, you framed her before. Yeah, we framed her for. Shame on you. I know, I wish we wouldn't have done it. Those people even raped her. My neighbors all came out since they sold the login clear out in Canton. They were saying stuff. We all heard that bastard admit to framing you. They sold the login to the protected life case by Christmas 18. I never had to stay quiet one day. They already impersonated a federal officer and act like the FBI was helping him. He was actually seen. I lived at 4490 John Thomas, Ravenna, like 10.6 miles out of town, in the middle of a woods. Okay. The next house after mine was a duplex. There was an old lady staying on one side and a group of men on the other. And they had a copy of my phone. I forgot to tell Will that too. Here they were ecstasy drugging me, human slave drugs, date rape drugs. So, and they had one of them pretend to go up and be a federal officer for I called Will back, and then drug me up so I couldn't remember anything but the what a shame guy. And that guy was actually seen in the picture window. He may be on the lease, if not the people that rented it know who he is. It's that simple. I have the stupidest criminals. They could never look or listen. They already know everything is photoshopped, the shower scene, and the drug confessions. Canton police have been telling people not to say anything to me because they already know all the tapes before were them and not me. They started investigating also because Ed at the Oakland apartment told on them and the guy at the Hunger Task Force. 2 investigators were there before Christmas of this last year, and the security's walking around, the informants here. No one's to say a word to her. 2 white guys with white hair walk out. We're mad that guy knew they did all this to her before, and it's some guy named Eric trying to help him get away with this, and we don't know who he is yet. Okay. And then the officer that works at CSE, a Canton officer, I know his vehicle. He had been following me around with a white SUV and a lady in it. Did you get a hold of Ed at the Oakland apartment? Did you get a hold of the guy at the Hunger Task Force? Those officers actually did this to her. See, they let him in the back of the bank, telling them that I'm a informant and they're my security. And they found out it was them doing it. Well, now it's personal. Yeah, they tricked them. They were also in the back of Liberty House, shared June of 19. The worst thing you ever did wrong, honey, is bend over improperly. We can wipe that one out. Okay. Now, that old ass that came up to me, for every idle word you tell on us, I'll turn it on you. You try to leave Dave, I'll list you a child molester. I'm like, who are you? He's like, you know that person you're like? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I used sodium pentothal on you? And you know what you told me? You were wearing this one nightgown, bent over improperly, they accidentally seen your butt, and you had a life of pain on because of it. I'm like, who are you? And I got away from him. I went home and I'm like, Dave, I always wear the grandma nightgown down to my knees, underwear, and a house coat when the grandkids are over. He's like, I know you do. I said that or a legging sweater and a house coat. I know you do. Those nightgowns, besides grab a nightgown and some laces for you, I just replaced them. He's like, I know you did. It's my 50th birthday. So I treated myself. He didn't even know what he was talking about. See, one time I didn't bend over improperly. It was about 3-4 years ago. The one kid had an accident next to her sister. She's only 4 and the other one's 6, and they were getting themselves showers. And I'm video chatting with Dave, and I'm like, how do I hook up this DVD player? They come after they got themselves cleaned up and dressed. They sat on the couch. Oh, Grandma, what's on the back of your legs? Varicose veins. Here, whole pamper while I get changed. Ran upstairs, put a skirt, bra, and a sweater on. Come down, they're still talking to Papa. One's eating pudding. And I run a brush through my hair, and I'm like, ladies, we're going to McDonald's. And they still have Papa on the phone. And they held him in the back seat, talking to him all the way to McDonald's. And then we went over to Kmart, and they didn't go to church back then. They're like, don't you buy us no girly clothes, Grandma. I'm like, great. What do you want? Well, they left with princess shoes and light-up shoes. Time we pull in the driveway, my oldest was right behind me, and they jump out of the car. They're like, "Daddy, Daddy, look what Grandma bought us!" And my other grandson that it was they had in the vehicle with them. They're like, he's like, "You're spoiled." They're like, "Yep," and they left. He's like, "Thanks, Mom." It's like, not a problem. It was actually a sweet day. My ex-daughter-in-law Melissa even asked me to babysit the next year, because nothing bad happened. They only made fun of the back of my knees. I have horrible varicose veins. I got them when I was 17. And people made fun of them my whole life. Well, since I was 17. It just is what it is. But yeah, I taped my ex-husband that we were on the phone all day, and then he knew nothing bad happened. I pulled into my clients today, and some guy pulled in and said, "None of this is funny. The only thing she did is bend over properly." The lady replied, "Well, they made all that other stuff up too." Again, he said, "Well, nobody had found any of this funny. That's all she did." It is. They only made fun of the back of my knees. They didn't see my butt. I didn't know that. Like that man that's doing this, they said that he's pretending as well. I don't know him. He was admitting to breaking in my house, picking my bedroom lock, and using amnesia, date rape, drugs on me to extort money. Last year in May, the apartment building 42nd close to the fence where they had ratted out Dave on 8/9/21 for drugging me. They were out there talking to a guy in a truck. They just want to extort money out of her. That's it. He said, "I realize that." They act like they can get money on photoshopping a shower scene, drugging me, roofing me, people not seeing drug confessions, and other people not seeing shower scenes where you're washing, so it makes you look like you're weird with yourself. And then the shower scene entered in another room. These people are not funny, and it is a domestic terrorism group, and it is a human trafficking group. They exploit people for money. I have been almost shot in the head driving. I was drugged up so bad up there. I was losing 5 to 7 pounds a week. I was cut up on 12/21/18. I was raped and tortured between July and September 19 between 1 and 3:30. And if somebody would actually pull Will's case, protected home custody, Maslin works it. They watch it from Maslin because they keep an eye on my daughter-in-law, Dixie, on Federal Avenue, because my ex put a threat on her life and they were tampering with her vehicles for a long time. But I went to the Tuscarora Sheriff's last week. I got my CCW. He said the Portage County Sheriffs are sending out emails that no one's to believe you, that they were threatening your life, or your ex-husband was harming you. You tell me what's going on, because I don't read stuff like this, because it's illegal to send stuff like that out. You can't tell someone not to believe somebody when they're getting harmed and threatened. It's actually, they could go to jail for that. And I told him from the beginning to them impersonating a federal officer before I called Will back. He's like, "Your ex-husband's crazy. We all know that." Okay, so I what? I went and he told me to get a hold of the FBI or the Ohio Attorney General to arrest the Portage County Sheriffs for this. He also, when I went back to pick it up, he said, "You need to find somebody to move you out of here too." I have no charges. I've never been questioned of the police wrongdoing. I've never been prosecuted, and I've never found guilty. If they go under Portage County Courthouse records, the only things there is my divorce, June of 19, at Liberty House Share, that one officer that said he went to Dave and talked to him, that was seen in the back of CSE Bank, too. He, not only did he tell him the worst thing you ever did wrong, honey, is bend over, and probably we can wipe that one out, because they only made fun of the back by news. They knew that guy altered it. He also was on the phone with someone in front of him. He made up a case to watch her before. That's funny. You did what to her? That's funny. She must really like him. It's like, shut up. I don't find any of this funny, and be stalked, harassed, followed. It's horrifying. And I almost died to save my family. And these people, they said September 15 at Shine they were hiring people to make fun of me. And I think it's funny making fun of rape victims, ones that have been cut up, framed, drugged, and almost murder trying to save their family, and they hire lowlifes to stalk me. And when they realize how not funny it is when I ramble through everything, they give up and they have to get more lowlifes that they're willing to take their blood money. Somebody, if there's not a man with integrity to do his job, they need to send a woman with a bad attitude to kick some men's ass and realize they say one thing about a tape before. That officer loses his badge, faces charges, and the prosecutor's office cannot use it. I told you, March 2nd or 3rd, 8 to 10:30 at night, because my car is bugged from the protected light case. They sold everybody her. They were going to put 2 clips together, put her in a porn. It's not her, it's them. Then May 26, 22, KFC at noon, the attorney had it set up so it looked like she was weird with herself, and they can't use it because some idiot man told on them. So thanks for confirming that. May 12th, 22, Bubba's Restaurant noon, on the patio. They're yelling at the police department, going by. We found a tape of them emitting a shower scene in the other room. None of this is funny. Because when they said they were going to put 2 clips together and put me in a porn, I'm not weird with myself. I'm thinking somebody else's body, put my head on. You can Photoshop anything. And then it's like, the only time I touch myself like that is showering. Walk outside. She figured out what they did. And they're laughing at me. Okay? And they sold the law again. They admitted to frame me March 24th, 22, 1:30. You framed her before? Yeah, we framed her before. Shame on you. I know those people even raped her. I feel bad about everything. And I've got witnesses of that, too. And like I said, then I get drugs and told to say stuff where I had bruises I couldn't explain, hand marks and a cut on my leg. They were abusing me under drugs and amnesia drugs, and people make fun of me for this. And it's just a domestic terrorism and a human traffic group trying to extort money. And somebody needs to get down here, and anybody participating in anything, they just need to nail them. And then put a nip to this. I'm not joking. It's not funny. They announced at Dr. Tater's office, May 5th, 22, right before noon. They come and leave messages for me. That's the one we used as an example to process people. Now we can process more. I'm not their first victim. And I don't think retired Judge Pete, friends with a magistrate over that county, those two having the undercover sheriffs do this to me is funny for Judge Pete's daughter, Michelle, and them impersonating the FBI and pretending to be FBI and then telling on me and drugging me before I even called that agent back. April 14, 22, Save-A-Lot, 2 lady investigators from Canton. It's sick what's going on. The whole thing's sick. They did have a man pretend he was FBI before she called that agent back. It was a stunt for Dave to confront her in the truck. They had people pretend they were her kids, bad-mouthing her, and her kids didn't know anything about it. It's been the people hurting her the whole time. It's just sick. The whole thing's sick.